This is the drill of the Formula One pre-season testing in Bahrain and the final day of the first week of this pre-season testing in 2026. And so far, the first and the second day has been very interesting. There is quite a bit of data that teams can be able to process, and also there is quite a lot of information coming out that you and I, as fans of Formula One, can be able to pick and can be able to analyze and try to understand what is going on. And I am looking forward to today too, because it will be interesting to see whether the gaps will be closer or it will end up with the same gaps that we have seen in the previous 2 days. And I'm saying this because my assumption is that by the time we get to day 6 next week, the gaps should be very close. And of course, that's an assumption. I don't mean that's necessarily how it will end up being or how it will end in terms of gaps. But you would expect that as teams continue to gather data, as teams continue to fine-tune their programs and machinery, they will be able to get closer to the front runners. But as things stand now, there is a great deal of gap between the front runners and what you might consider to be back markers at this particular point in time when it comes to testing. I think the curious case would be Aston Martin, who are, according to Lance Stroll, almost 4 seconds behind the front runner. And that would be quite shocking, especially if that's how the pre-season testing ends for Aston Martin, and more curiously, if that's how it will be by the end of the first race in Australia. And if this is the first time that we are meeting, I am Joe, and on this particular YouTube channel, I talk about Formula One and the business of Formula One. And I would really appreciate if you would consider subscribing to this YouTube channel. Being the third day of this pre-season testing, and also given that teams have had 2 days to test their cars to kind of continue running their program, it is expected that today they will also continue to do the same. They will continue to run whatever program that they have set in place, probably with a few adjustments based on what they have already gathered or what they are finding based on the last 2 days. And drivers are going to have either a full day or they are going to split their driving responsibilities between the teammates. The drivers that are going to have a full day responsibility on this third day of pre-season testing include Ferrari's Lewis Hamilton, McLaren's Oscar Piastri, you have Racing Bull's Liam Lawson, Lance Stroll of Aston Martin, and Alpine's Franco Colapinto. Those drivers are going to have the driving responsibility for the entire day, meaning that they are going to drive in the morning session, have lunch, and also continue driving during the afternoon session. The rest of the teams and drivers are going to share responsibility, with one driver driving during the morning session and the other driver driving in the afternoon session. And what you have in this particular category include drivers such as Max Verstappen, who will drive for Red Bull in the morning, and Isaac Hadjar will be driving in the afternoon. Then you have George Russell of Mercedes doing the same in the morning, and Kimi Antonelli driving in the afternoon. Carlos Sainz will drive for Williams in the morning, with Alex Albon taking over the responsibility in the afternoon. You also have Oli Bearman actually driving in the morning for Haas, and Esteban Ocon doing the same in the afternoon. Then you have Gabriel Bortoleto driving in the morning for Audi, and Nico Hülkenberg driving in the afternoon. And finally, you are going to have Valtteri Bottas driving for Cadillac in the morning and Sergio Perez driving for Cadillac in the afternoon. So basically, that's the structure that you have for today, this being the third day of pre-season testing in Bahrain. And it will be very interesting to see how the day will pan out or how things will be over the course of the day. If you are a business person or an entrepreneur, there are a lot of business lessons that you can pick from the pre-season testing in Formula One. These are lessons that you can apply and use in your business to either increase your business revenue or grow the business or the brand that you are actually building. And those are some of the things that we are going to be interrogating: the intersection of Formula One racing, the sport, the entertainment, the exciting things that happen during the race or on track, and what that means to you as an entrepreneur or a business person. And if this is the first time that you are meeting, I am Joe, and on this YouTube channel, I talk about Formula One and the business of Formula One. And at this particular moment, I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe to this YouTube channel. And having said that, I am hoping that I'm going to see you in my next video.